to the 24-hour Marketing Mastermind Hangout, where we have got a really good program lined up for you today. We're going to talk about a couple of things with your business. We have a couple of people on the panel here. We have Katie Stage, our one and only moderator, with Pops on her left-hand side. We often refer to him as Willie Nelson, just forgive the really close similarities. It's a little bit scary, to be perfectly honest. I believe, Pops, you had a ponytail at one stage.
I did. There we go. I did. Yeah, it was about down the middle of my back.
Wow.
And the hair was down to the shoulders and all that crap, you know. When fun was really fun.
Cool. And I believe one guy actually mistook you for Willie Nelson one day.
Yeah, a couple of times. And actually, I had a friend of mine that wanted me to take me over to an island out on on Lake Superior. There's a big island out there where a lot of people live, and he wanted me to go out there and start singing on the road again for signatures and do do autographs for like $1. I don't know.
My goodness.
It was kind of funny.
Jeez. That's awesome. Katie, you got a really famous dad there.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. Okay, so guys, if you're just joining us and perhaps this is your first time on this hangout, we want to welcome you all to it. We want you to feel relaxed and at home. We're going to be covering a couple of basics today, some very important basics actually. For those of you who want to get started, we're going to talk about what you need to do and what is it that you should be doing when you get started in this business. But not only that, we really want to concentrate on people that you bring into the business and what they should be doing. And one of the things you should be doing as a business owner is you should be forwarding people to hangouts like this, and especially to hangouts that Empower Network have. All right, we know that inside of Empower Network they have the Beginners Club, the Elite Club, the Six-Figure Shortcut, the Six-Figure Builder Club, and the Seven-Figure Builders Club. I think that's what it's called. And your job as somebody who is getting started is actually to go to those hangouts, all right? Your job is purely to get people there, but you also should be going to those hangouts every single week. And that's one of the great things about Empower Network is that they've really upped the game with training. They've committed to weekly training, which they do for members, but members that are new, members intermediate, members for advanced, and for members that are really advanced. And it is your job to make sure that you get the full benefit of that training. We're going to be doing a couple of things. We're going to be actually going over what you need to do with when you're speaking to people inside your business. And that's very important because a lot of the time somebody will call you up and wanting to know if you're actually real or not. We're going to be talking about that today. But right now, what I want to say to you is if you've just joined, and I do want to give a couple of shout-outs, and the first shout-out I want to give out is to Chris Pius. I know Chris has been working really hard. This guy works tremendously in his business. He blogs just about every day. He makes videos, and he does exactly what the training expects him, what he is supposed to do. And Chris, if you're out there, man, good on you for doing that. I know he gets regular sign-ups now, and he's really working hard. And if you are on Chris's team, just know that you're in good hands. I trust Chris implicitly, and well done, Chris, for all the hard work you've been doing. I also want to give a shout-out to, I think his name is Bastien, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I know he joined yesterday. And I've got to tell you, out of everybody that has signed up, in my team, this is probably the fastest I've ever seen anyone take action. I mean, he signed up yesterday, went through the entire process. What I mean by that is he actually went through the quick start guide, all right? So you need to go through that quick start guide inside your back office on Empower Network, go through all 5 steps, set up your entire system, watch all the videos, because I know it's tempting to skip over stuff, but in this particular business, you cannot skip over stuff, all right? It's very important to go through the videos and to stop that little voice in your head that says, I already know this, okay? You've got to listen to all of it. Even me, who's been doing this for 3 years, when that first came out, I listened to the entire video range. You have to do it. All right. And once you have that set up, you have to make sure that you've got your autoresponder set up. You need to make sure that you've got your campaign set up. And if you don't know what that is, it's probably a good sign that you haven't gone through the videos. All right. So you need to make sure that you have your autoresponders, your follow-up email set up properly. And if you need help with that, you can always get in contact with myself, with Steve, or with Katie, or with Pops, and we can send you some codes that you can use inside of GetResponse that'll help you get that set up and give you some templates to work off on so that you can build your business effectively. All right, that's very, very important. You have to make sure that you get that follow-up series done. All right, it's one of the things that we tend to skip over whenever we're doing something, because I don't know what it is, but there's always something inside of you that wants you to. We're kind of envious of people that are in front of us, so we want to jump to where they are at the moment, and we want to skip the hard work. And part of that hard work is actually going through the process. All right, so we have an interesting hangout today, and we're going to be talking about questions that people ask you. We're going to be covering that as well, but we're going to be doing an interesting kind of role play today. If you guys saw the message on Facebook, I said that there'll be a skit involved, and so Katie and I are going to be putting on a skit for you today. I hope that you enjoy it. What we're really going to be doing is we're going to be going through what you would kind of expect if somebody were to call you up and say, hey, somebody calls you up because I want to find out if the program is legit. Now, there's a couple of things you need to know about this, all right? When people call you up for your business, 9 times out of 10, they're probably seeing if you actually are there, all right? Because mostly what will happen is when somebody calls you up and you answer the phone and say, hey, this is Dave, and they say, Dave from the internet, and I say yes, and they get 9 times out of 10, the response I get is, I can't believe you answered, because people always assume that you're running some sort of scam. But I tell people all the time that I'm not involved in a scam whatsoever. I'm here if you have any questions. And that's what you need to do. You also need to get yourself comfortable with receiving phone calls. So a lot of marketers don't like to put their personal information out there because they don't want people stalking them. And that's understandable. Perhaps you don't want to put your address, but unfortunately, the Spam Act, inside of when you're doing emails, you need to put an address in there because of the Spam Act that they put out there for people sending unsolicited emails. All right, so you can't just send out emails without an address at the bottom. It doesn't have to be your personal address. It can be a PO box number, but people need to know that you actually are reachable. All right, that's the primary reason for that. And as you grow in this business, you're going to do everything you can so that you can be reachable for somebody to actually contact you. One of the things I have is a Skype number. I have an email address. I have a Skype name as well, so people can contact me on Skype. I'm on Facebook, so people can reach me. And you want to make yourself available for people to get hold of you. All right, that's very important. There's no ways that you can be successful in this industry by living in a box where you don't put your face out there. All right, and if you're a person that doesn't want to have your identity revealed, or you want to do things behind the scene, I'm not saying that it's not possible. I'm just saying it's going to be a lot easier for you if people know who they're talking to. All right, it's kind of like being just a blank face, or as opposed to a real person on the other side. If people can see that you're a living person and that you're reachable, gives them a sense of trust. And of course, the number one rule in business is to make sure that people get to know, like, and trust you. All right, people are more willing to buy things from you if they can get to know you, if they can get to trust you, and if they can get to like you. Right, that's just a simple fact. All right, the people that I've been dealing for years in this industry, if I recommend a product to them, they will not hesitate to go for it because they know me and they trust me and they know that I'm not going to, sell them anything scammy. And that's due to a relationship that I've built with people over the years. All right. Now, as I said, Katie and I are going to be doing this thing back and forth, where Katie is going to be calling me up as the internet marketer, and Katie is going to be the person who's just signed up on my team. And so we're going to be doing this for people to get an idea of what you can do. And so as we do this, it's going to be off the cuff. Nothing is really sort of planned. We have an idea where this is going. But I want you guys to get a sense of what happens when you speak to somebody on the phone. All right, so Katie, you there?
Yeah.
You're there. All right, so we're going to be trying this. And I know that I've done this with a couple of other people. I know I've done this with Chris as well. It's a very useful exercise to do because it gets you kind of thinking about what you need to ask people. And so this is what we're going to do. So Katie, you are going to be calling me, and I'm going to be answering. All right, so we're going to do this.
Yes, we are.
I'm going to have my Bluetooth in, so I'm not going to be...
Oh, right. Okay, resistance is
for the Bluetooth. All right.
I'm a
All
geek.
right.
Okay, so ring, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, is this Dave?
Yes, it is. It's Dave. How did you get a hold of me?
Actually, I just signed up to your program, and I saw the phone number in the back office there, and you had a really neat video saying, you know, call me whenever you need anything. So I called you, and I'm actually surprised that you picked up. So this is
Okay.
pretty
Cool,
neat.
man. That's awesome to hear you. I see that you've actually signed up on the program. Tell me, Katie, what is it that you do for a living?
Oh, well, right now I work at a hotel where I am actually at the front desk and full time, and I also have another part-time job. So yeah, I do have. I just kind of wanted to know, like, what does it take to make this thing work? So
What is it?
Yeah.
See, so you're actually looking for a way to make an income online, as I understand it, so that you don't have the drudgery of going to work every day.
Right, exactly. I just don't want to. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I just want to find something that I can actually be home with my kids, and be able to be there for them, and not have to pay for what do you call those things? Oh crap.
That's fine.
Daycare.
This is off the cuff.
Okay,
All right.
so I don't have to pay for daycare. So yeah,
That's
and yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Katie, let me ask you, what is it that you would like to earn? Like, what is your ideal salary? What is it per month you'd like to earn?
I did see something about that in the back office where I can go through those steps. I kind of peeked through a little bit, and I went through the thing, and I'm kind of embarrassed, but I guess I guess I need a lot of money in order to replace my income, first of all, and what I need to support my kids with and my family. So I think I need right around 25,000 a month. I mean, seriously, is that like possible?
25,000 a month. Now that I can deal with. What do you, if you don't mind me asking, Katie? And I know this might be a little bit personal, but the reason I want to ask you this question is because I need to know where you are, so we can get you to the position where you're going to be. So what is it you're exactly earning at the moment?
Well, right now I'm making about $3,000 a month.
Okay.
And that's just take in, so minus anything that is like for housing, something, you know, for my kids, and that's just my income and not my husband's income. So I'm just talking about me here, because I'm actually, he knows that I'm doing this, but he's not really into it. If you know what I mean. I don't know if you ever had that.
I can totally understand. I can totally understand where you're coming from. So you want to get to a stage where you're earning like $25,000 a month. I mean, is that something you would like to earn?
Yeah, because not only will it allow me to quit my job, my 2 jobs, but it would also retire my husband. So, I mean, he's got maybe about 15 years left before he retires. So it'd be kind of nice to actually enjoy our lives before we get too old to enjoy it.
I see. Because, you know, the one thing that that really makes me excited about this is the fact that you want to earn so much money, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people that call me up say, Dave, I just want to earn like an extra $1,000 a month, and that's fine. Everybody can use a bit more income. The problem with that is that, if you really want to earn that amount of money, you can go ahead and get some other job or just work at a different promotion. But $25,000 is a huge amount. And I work with people who think big, and you obviously are a person who thinks big, and I really do want to help you. So I've got some ideas for you, and if you really do want to make this happen, I can help you get there. Is that something you're willing to do?
Yeah, I'm ready to make this thing work. So that's why I called you in the first place, to actually ask you what it is I need to do, and if this was actually I'm just surprised that you answered. I didn't think you were going to answer, so I just wanted to say hi and yeah, just tell me what to do. That'd be awesome.
My pleasure. It's my pleasure. Now, the other thing I want to ask you, Katie, is this is quite an important question. Now, I need to know, what is your staying power? So, how long are you going to be doing this until you decide, that's it, I'm going to throw in the towel? I need to know, how long will you give this a go for?
Well, to tell you the truth, I've actually tried some things like this in the past, and I wasn't very successful at it. And I made a promise to myself, not only myself, but my kids and my husband, that I'll do this until it works, no matter what. So no matter what.
So you're gonna do this no matter what. All right. Yeah. Now that's a very good sign. All right, because a lot of people, when they start out a business like this, what happens after a few weeks, it's very exciting when you get started, but then after a while you kind of realize, hey, there's actually work involved. And I don't want you to be disillusioned in any way. I want you to understand that this is going to take work, and you need to be committed to this, and you need to be working daily on this particular business, because this is a real business. And if you're going to be treating it like a hobby, if you're going to be treating it like something that isn't serious, you're not going to get serious results. So I need to know from you that if you're committed and you're going to be working on this daily, then I can work with you. And if you're willing to do that, I will work with you. But there needs to be this between the two of us. There needs to be 100% honesty. So if you can tell me that you will do everything I tell you to do, then I can get you to the goal that you want to be at. But you need to promise me that you're going to commit to it.
Wow, you know what? You got it, man. This is the first time I've ever heard this from somebody, so I'm all in. So let's just do this.
Right. So what I want you to do right now is you'll actually see that I'll send you a couple of links over, and I want you to go ahead and I want you to go and watch those videos. There is a beginners section, okay, which is a beginners club, and I want you to make sure that you follow that training because you're already in. And then I want you to go ahead and go to the elite club, all right? And that's I want you to go ahead and buy that, all right? And then straight after that, there is another section called the team builder. There's a team builder product, which will also have training inside of there. And I want you to go and get to that level, all right? I want you to go to that level, and if you can push yourself to go a little bit higher. Once you actually get all those things, if you do that for me, I will be committed to helping you, all right?
Okay.
So I'm going to do that for you right now. I'm going to send you the links over, and I want you to go through all of that training. And I'll know that you've gone through it because I can see it on my side. And that way I can know where you are and we can actually work together. So will you do that for me?
Yes, I will. I do have one more question, though.
Sure.
I do only have maybe about an hour or two, maybe, in each day. Or do I do this on the weekends? Or like, how long do I need to, do this every day?
That's a very good question with regards to the time frame. What you need to be doing is you need to be setting aside perhaps 2 to 3 hours a day. Now I'm going to push you for 3 hours, all right? And the reason I'm doing that is because 3 hours is a good time to work on a business every single day. If you can work on it 3 hours, now you can do it in 2, but you've got to find a way to work this in. And this is what I mean about working a business. When I started out, I went through the same process where I was working a full-time job and I had to fit this in on the side. You need to find time to do that. Can you do that?
I think I can, yes.
Okay, great.
Even if I have to lose sleep over it.
That's exactly right. And let me tell you something. When you actually get into this type of business, you're going to find that that is one of the things that you're going to lose sleep over. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm going to give there are two choices here. You can either work a regular job and work for the next 20, 30 years and work in a regular salary, or what you can do is you can work really hard for 4 to 5 years, really work hard, and then get to a position where you can have the lifestyle to where you can experience the freedom. Is that something you want to do?
That sounds wonderful. That sounds way better than waiting 15 years to do what I want. I'm ready.
All right, so we'll chat again as soon as you've actually finished all of that stuff and you've gone to that particular level. We'll get hold of you next week, and we'll have another conversation.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dave. So glad
Okay.
you answered.
Cheers. And that's basically what you do. Now, remember that everybody is going to have a different style. You don't have to turn into me, all right? There are some people that will do this a lot different than I will, all right? Maybe you're not a person who is as forward as perhaps I am. Maybe you're not as forward. And you also get to judge the situation for yourself. But what I want you guys to realize is the whole principle of it. If you noticed, I did a few things in that conversation. Number one, I took charge of the conversation, all right? The reason you need to do that is because if they start asking you all the questions, then what's the point of the phone call? You need to be a leader. You need to be somebody who knows what you're talking about, all right? And all I really did is I told them what they need to do as a plan, all right? So I asked them a couple of questions. What is it they do for a living? How much do they want to earn? What is their staying power in the business? That sort of thing. Will they quit at some stage? How much money do they want to make? And what this does is it shows them that you are a person who actually has a plan, and therefore they can trust you. And believe me, I've had experience in this where I've taught people how to get there. So there's no question this actually does work. You just need to start implementing it in your business. I know that there might be a lot of questions people are having at the moment. We were covering a couple of questions before this hangout, Katie. I was wondering if you could ask some of those questions. And perhaps, I know you like answering the first one, so go ahead and do that.
Okay, so I get this one a lot, and it's very particular on how to answer this kind of question, depending on the type of person you are. And it's about, okay, it's that really scary question when somebody says, well, how much are you making? They haven't joined yet, but they want to fit. They're starting to fish and try to figure this out. And that one question that always pops up is, how much are you making? And did you want to go with your answer first, Dave? And then we can get Dan's answer, and then we can get kind of my answer a little bit, or how do you want to do that?
Sure. Well, the thing is, everybody has been there, okay? So I'm just going to answer the way I'd normally answer. I'm not going to answer the way that Pops did. He can answer it the way that he wanted to. But whenever somebody asks me that question, I feel that the only way you can really answer that question is to be honest with people. And I'm not saying that now you have to tell people that you're not earning anything. That's certainly not what I'm saying. All I'm trying to say is that the more honest you are and upfront with people, the more integrity you're going to have in your business. Don't lie to people. That's the one thing you don't want to do. If you're telling people you're earning a certain amount of money and they find out later that you're not, you're in big trouble. And I actually know of somebody, his name, you guys might know him, his name is Aidan Corkery, Irish guy. And when he started out in this industry, his first couple of videos were said like this: my name is Aidan, I live in Ireland, and I actually haven't made any money with this business. And that's how straightforward and honest he was to people. Now, you didn't have to be that way. When people ask me how much money I'm making, I just tell them the truth. That's what I tell them, all right? And even if you made a couple of sales, that's fine. But generally speaking, when you start bringing more people into your business, your income will start to build and build and build, and that's when you have more conversations with people, when you get a lot more comfortable with it. Pops, you had a good answer.
Yeah, I had some people ask me the same thing, and I told them, actually, I wasn't making anything at the time, but I didn't want to tell them that. And even if I was making money, I didn't want them to gauge their success based on mine. So I would tell them flat out that I didn't want them to gauge their success on me or try to model my income, and that they could model me in what I do, but not in what I make. So that I tell them you could excel much faster than I have and will, or you may not even catch up to me, and that's entirely up to what you do and what you're capable of doing.
Yeah, that's a very good way of answering it, actually, and I never thought of that. Um, that was a good answer. I mean, when you tell people that, you have to remember that when people are asking you these questions, 99% of the time, these questions are kind of smoke screens. They haven't really gone into the actual back office and watched the videos. All right. And here's the other thing. I mean, you can win or lose either way. Say somebody says, "So Dave, how much money have you made?" And I say to them, I'm making up a number now, so this has got nothing to do with income. I'm just saying, let's just say I've made over $1 million. Now that's going to be incredibly depressing to somebody who's made nothing, right? They're going to be thinking, that's way out of my league. Even if it's $50,000, it's still way out of somebody's league. But the point is, you want to make people as comfortable as possible. Katie, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I'm the way the question that I get usually when people when they join, I actually don't get it as much, but it's when people are asking when they haven't joined yet. So I do get that question a lot. So usually I kind of go from my dad's answer, and it's usually I say I actually had someone who's already in Empower. Her name is Sandy Baker Dozier, I think her last name is, Sandy Baker. And she came with me and she had this problem too where people are always asking her this question. So I basically gave her my roundabout answer where I basically said, oh, by the way, I told her to come on this hangout because we told her we're going to do these role play things. So Sandy, if you're here, hi. So I basically told her, I tell people this that's a great question, and I get this one a lot. So I let them know that I get this one a lot, and I'm not afraid to answer that. And there's a reason I typically don't share that information is because my income level, sometimes it tends to scare people away, whether it's either too high or too low or whatever, and they just find out what they kind of, they're not there to find out what I'm actually doing. They're kind of focusing on the income, which usually what we do when we come into this business is that we want to replace an income of some sort and make money. So that's pretty much it. But as you go on, and your vision starts to get bigger, and you start to get people in, and you want to share your vision with other people, it turns to be something different where it's not about you anymore, it's about other people. And what I should have done when I first got started was actually share my vision instead of thinking about the money. So there's that. But anyway, so when people are asking, I said, yeah, my results, are my results. So, however, I don't want you to base on just the income on what you could do, because like my dad said, like you could do so much more than me, and we talked about it before we got on this hangout, Dad and I did, and it's like your influence could be, different than mine, it could be better, or you have more people, it depends on the education and stuff like that, so I don't want to base it on just that. So, and that's pretty much what I say.
Okay. When people want to find out how much you're making, remember that it is coming from a place of a person who is uncertain. They don't have much information, so you need to be pointing them ultimately to the back office. All of these questions that people ask are generally because people are uncertain, so you need to give them some sort of assurances, and that's why we have mentors, that's why we have sponsors, that's why we have people that we can look to, and there are plenty of other people that we're in community with, So I even know, hey Jonah, if you're on there, a good shout out to you. I know Jonah is taking action, man. This guy really works hard, and I know he's going to make a tremendous success of himself. But even when he's in a position where he's just starting out, he's using me as an example and saying, look at what my sponsor's doing, so you're in good hands because we're both under his training. You've got to remember that you can leverage the other other people's income as well. All right. Anyway, let's go on to the next question.
Okay. There's a lot of people who would say pretty much, you know, I don't exactly know what I'm doing. What am I selling here? How do I tell people what I'm selling? So that's an awesome end, because I was like that when I first got started. So.
All right. So when people say to you, "What is it that I'm actually doing?" I can't tell you how many times I've had this question thrown at me. But let me also say that again, this question stems out of people not going through the training. All right. And remember that if you're into cold calling, if you're going to be just phoning people and saying, "Hey, how you doing? I want you to get involved with this," you're going to come up with a lot of objections. And that is why I prefer it when people are in the business and they get hold of me. When somebody's in the business and they get hold of me and they've joined my team already, that question hardly ever gets asked. But even if it does, I point them into the back office. And you've got to remember that we are in the business of helping people build a business online. That is what we do, and we sell products to help people market effectively. That's what we do. And we have great products like a blogging platform. We have training to help people blog effectively. We've got training in the form of marketing with YouTube, with Facebook, with Instagram, with all sorts of ways to pay traffic. That's what we do, and that's what we sell. So if you really want to come down to it, that's what we do. But when you get people into the back office and they actually go through the training themselves and they watch it from beginning to end, that question gets answered in those videos. All right? So that question is coming from a place where somebody is not really certain of what they're doing. And it often is what I would term a lazy question. I'm not saying all people do this, but I'm saying that when people just want to ask you questions left, right, and center, and they're not willing to do any work, it's probably a good sign that they're not going to be somebody who's going to be working very hard for you. The other thing you have to remember is that when people contact you and they're speaking to you, not every single person is going to be a person that's going to stick with the whole business. All right? So keep in mind that even if you lose a person and they decide to quit, that's fine. There's always somebody else around the corner. All right? Not everybody is going to like this. It's not for everybody. And I make sure I tell that to everybody. That's one of the things I do also when I'm speaking to somebody. And I spoke to someone today actually about this very thing. And I said that this is going to take up a bit of your time as well as an investment. And I said, you need to put aside at least 3 hours a day. And they said to me, well, that's probably the thing that I wouldn't be able to do it. And I said, that's okay. When you get some time, come back. I'm going to be here as well. And that adds credibility to yourself as well, because when they see you here 6 months later, it gives you a little more trust, because people know that you stick around. Pops, do you want to come in?
Can I add to that?
Sure.
Can I actually add to that real quick before Pops gets started on that?
Sure.
I just wanted to say that when somebody is asking the questions on, like, say if they don't really understand how something is in the product, and it's easy for them to actually go through the product more than once, eventually they'll get it. So if they ask us, it's basically we're doing them a disservice if we tell them how we understand it. So people understand it in a different way, if that makes sense. You know, because they have to go through it in order to, you know, get their own breakthroughs or get their own ideas, get their own, you know, brains going as far as like what to do next and understand what is really back there. So we have awesome products. And to tell you exactly what's going on inside without even going through it yourself, we're basically doing a disservice.
You know, it's interesting you say that. I remember watching them training that Dave was getting one day, and he was explaining it like this. He said, I could teach somebody how to make $50,000 in a month. That was what he was saying. I could teach somebody to do that. And first of all, let me say that if we mention any income, please go to our income disclaimer at empowernetwork.com/income. We are talking about income here, so I just want to let you know we cannot guarantee you're going to be making any money because we don't know what you're like as a person, so I can't make that assumption. But let me also say that what Dave was saying is that if he can teach somebody how to make $50,000, Dave's got all the information in his head that he can teach that person. Now, statistically, when you teach somebody something, they will only remember 50% of that information. And then when that person teaches somebody else, they're going to anticipate, 25% of the information. And it just gets weakened and weakened and weakened as the line goes down. So if you're a person who just wants to build your team like that, you're going to be heading for failure. That's why we say get people into the training, because the training holds 100% of the information. And that's why you need to give people that information. You need to get people back into the system, and it's a habit that you need to feed on people. Some people know it intellectually, but they don't realize how important it is to go back to the training. Pops, do you want to get in here with something?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Dave. I would tell people, and I have told people that, to get through the product and how really great the product is. Actually, I think you underspoke, as I think we have the best product out there today, and teaching people how to market and how to develop a business. And I try to tell them and get to know them, and it is okay to get to know your people and talk to them a lot and figure out what their strengths are if you can, or what they intend to do, or what they are interested in, like Facebook, or if they want to just do buy-in leads and go that route. But it's important for you to go through the products yourself so that you know what's in there, so that, and you don't have to do all what's in there, of course, but if you know what's in there, then you can direct them, once you know them, what they're interested in, on where to go to learn this, so they're not so frustrated with trying to figure out what would work and what wouldn't work for them. And that can be very overwhelming, going through all them products, because like Katie said, it is Facebook and all the other social medias, and not everybody wants to do all the social media. They're just not comfortable with it. And that's what I recommend to do, and that's what I would do and do with the people that I speak with.
Okay. Excellent. Thanks very much.
Can I actually say something? I kind of had like a little mini breakthrough there, what Pop said, actually. Kind of snowballing off, having people go through the products themselves and talking about their strengths. If you don't know what your strengths are in this business, you better go through the products, because then you'll find your strength. And trying to cut corners, you're not going to be able to grow as a person, and your business isn't going to grow. So it's definitely a must-do. To be honest, just because I love the product so much, I honestly went through the products 8 times. I'm all in. I've been all in, and I go through all the products, and I've done it 8 times because I just think I just hear something different every single time. And the reason why I do that is so I can become more, get more strengths and, grow as a person and have my business grow. And the best way that I do that actually is I download it on my phone for audio, and I can actually listen to it while I'm cleaning the house, or if I'm just going for a walk or whatever, or driving. So there's an idea.
Is there another question? I think you had 7 of them.
Yeah, I had 7 of them.
Yeah.
Well, we did kind of cover is this a legit thing? So we kind of covered that, because there are some people who would well, is this legit? Because I've been burned before. What makes this any different?
Wow. Yes. See, here's the thing. The one thing I'm known for is I can be a bit of a risk taker. So I will do just about anything I can so I can get to the next level. And if you're a person that is not willing to take a bit of risk, you're not going to go very far. Any successful business owner will tell you they've had to take some sort of risk in their business. It is it's just the way that this works. So if people think it's a scam and they want to tell me it's a scam and I'm not going to join, I'm not going to argue with that. It's just that simple. If somebody says, you tell me why this isn't a scam, I don't even want to talk to that person. That's fine. What's going to happen is they're going to see you 6 months down the line still making an income, and they're going to have to rethink that. Don't waste your time with that question. It's not really something you want to get involved with. I know it's not a scam. We all know it's not a scam. I get paid from this company weekly. It does work, and we sell real products, and we provide a real service, and we provide real value. All right, people talk about the pyramid scheme. It's such a pyramid scheme. You want to look at a pyramid scheme, look at your government. Gee, anyway, there's a big pyramid. Anyway, I'm not going to say anything.
Mini rant.
Yeah, okay, all right. Next question.
Okay, but right on point on that, because you know, don't even try to waste your breath, because you can't make somebody do something. So if they're not willing to listen, then don't worry about it. And it kind of stems back, like, what are you here for? What's your vision? You're not going to want that type of person on your team anyways.
No,
Well,
so
if
the
I may,
next, yeah.
if I may, I'd like to just touch on that again before we get away from it. And what I've told people is that I have been in other opportunities, and I was tempted to blame the opportunity and blame the product and blame the people that were my upline and my sponsor and all that stuff. And I was willing to call it a scam. But I realized it was me that wasn't doing the work. And so some of the people that I felt that would ask me that may have been in something, and I'd have to question that as to whether they actually did not do the work, or was it really something that was on the product or the people that signed them up. So I had to throw that in.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, Pops, because it's actually something I forgot to mention in the role play we were doing there, Katie. The one thing you want to do whenever you're talking to somebody is you need to make them understand that it is entirely their responsibility. And you're doing this for a number of reasons, but the first one is you're trying to get them to understand that they are the person ultimately responsible for their success. Because people will always revert to, my sponsors aren't helping me, these people aren't really in my corner, I can rely on anyone. The truth is that there are people that have been in that situation where nobody's helped them and they've just figured it out on their own. And you know what? You actually just need to do that. It does make a huge difference when you get people that do help you and assist you. But ultimately, if you want to make this work for yourself, you cannot let a little bit of difficulty stop you or hinder you. The other thing I want to address quickly before we move on, this is the only industry I know of where telling people about what you earn is kind of accepted. So people will not accept it, but I don't really, you know, if somebody said, like if I mention how much I made this month, people think, well, isn't that private? Isn't that something you want to keep to yourself? And yes, in one sense it is. So I don't go telling every Tom, Dick, and Harry. But when I'm not afraid to tell people. And why is that? Because I want people to realize that there is freedom in what I do, and that ultimately my check changes from month to month. This is the type of community that we're in. You never want to make another person feel like they need to be isolated and by themselves and lonely, because if somebody's earned $25 in their first month and you've earned $5,000 in their month, you never want to make that person feel small or insignificant, because every single, if I remember making my first dollar online, my first $25 actually online, because all I wanted to do was make $1, and it was so emotional for me. I cried, I broke down because of the 8-month struggle I had, and it was so significant that I made that money. I couldn't believe it. It was life-changing for me, and I suddenly had this inkling that I went, you know, if I can do this once, I can do it again, and again, and again, and again. And there's no saturation in this market whatsoever. So you're not going to run out of people, because we know that 95% of people give up. So the market's always going to be open. But it all depends on the way that you handle your team. It all depends on the way that you handle the people that you work with. That's going to determine their success. All right? So you want to develop a culture of encouragement. You want to develop a culture of building up people. And here's the most important thing, which is probably the hardest. You want to build people up even though they have things against you. All right? So even if somebody is completely negative or says bad things against you, your objective is to build people up no matter what. Because when you do that to other people, it actually does something to another person. It changes them. when somebody expresses an ounce of kindness to somebody, that's a normal human being. I'm not talking about sociopaths. I'm talking about people that have responses in their lives. When you do an act of kindness towards them, something happens. And the more you do that, the more they feel a sense of significance. And so if you can practice that in your business, you're going to have a tremendous success throughout your entire career in this industry. So that's why we say to you, get hold of the inner circle, start listening to these audios every day, and we all recommend listening to Speak the World into Existence by David Wood for the first 60 days of your business. Listen to it every single day so that you can get in a good habit, start developing good habits. That's why, because that ultimately is going to change your business. But I'm getting way off track here.
Well, no, actually, you touched on a lot of good points because, what was it, like 6 months ago? I think it was 6 months ago. There was an event, an Empower Network event that we went to, and David Wood told everybody to listen to that audio. That audio was recorded when the company was only 8 months old, and people are still listening to it today because it's so powerful. It's so it changes your way of, like, it gives you a paradigm shift, really. And when he told us to listen to that, I did it for 21 days, and then I didn't even know if I even before the 21 days, I didn't even know how long it's been. I just kept listening to it, even beyond the 21 days. I heard it today. I was putting on my Christmas lights today, and I was listening to Speak Your World into Existence because it's just that powerful. And I know that, Andrea, I told you to do it for 21 days, and you said, yes, you're going to do it no matter what, and you did, and you're succeeding. You know, you're growing as a person, and you're like, what do I do after that, after the 21 days? I said do it for another 21 days, and that's what creates consistency. So I just feel so excited about talking about that audio because it's just been my paradigm shift for me so much.
And I feel that we need to address a couple of people on this Hangouts, and I know that I mentioned Chris. I also want to mention Arlene. Arlene is a person that just carries on pursuing. I mean, she really wants to make this work, and she's really working hard at this business. And I wish her every bit of success for the future because I know she's at a few sales, and she knows that this actually does work. So she is working tremendously hard, and for that, I really do congratulate you, Arlene. I also want to say to Andrea, I know that you've been working, and you have a tremendous workload on your shoulders, where you just find the time to learn how to do business. And it's so weird because I was talking to Andrea on Skype the other day, and we had a bit of a technical issue, but you just said, don't worry about it, Dave, I'll figure it out and get back to you. And that's what I love about that, and Jonah as well. Jonah finds some of the stuff because, he battles with English. We find it easy, but Jonah just carries on, and he persists, he keeps on keeping on, and I know he's going to make a success of this industry because he never gives up. And that is really what makes leaders. And ultimately, that's what it takes, is just to never give up. Because how many times, if you think about how many times you struggled to do something, and then when you actually reached your goal, you had that sense of success. And if you just gave up a few weeks or a few days before, it would never have happened. And that's why you need to have that inner voice inside of you that just says never, ever give up. Are there any more questions?
Hey, Pops, do you have any more questions, or do you want me to?
Yeah, actually, I don't see a chat, so I can't see them. I don't know why I can't get it up.
Oh, well, just about if you have like maybe some questions off the top of your head that maybe you would like to address, kind of like if you have someone who wants to join but doesn't have the money to join, because I've actually had that before, where they're struggling, and you may have some people that are gonna do that, and they're gonna say that they don't have the money to join. Well, it goes with, well, what are you gonna do, like as far as like, how are you gonna serve them? So like, you're not gonna make them like skip rent. Don't, God forbid, don't skip rent in order to do this business. Pay your bills, make sure you do that, and make sure you have the right budget to do it before. I know like people get excited and they want to join now, but they got to make sure they have a budget for it, really.
Yeah, I mean, when I started this industry, when I started with Empower, I couldn't afford to go get all the products. There's no ways. There's no ways in my wildest dreams that anyway I could afford those products. And I had that struggle. And the way I dealt with it is I just did everything I could to make sure I had the money. So there were times where I couldn't make the rent. I mean, I couldn't make the rent. Sorry. I couldn't make payments. I actually went to the lockdown twice on my payments. And I had to pay a little extra to get it unlocked. And they were really, really freaky moments for me. But the thing is that I had a friend who was in the signage industry, very good friend, we're best friends, and he gave me work. And he had work, and he gave it to me. And I said, man, if you got anything, I will do anything. Just let me be I will be the grunt. I will be the peon that you tell me to do whatever it is I need to do, and I will do it. And that's what I did. I mean, it all comes down to the fact is if you want something bad enough. And I sometimes refer to this as somebody who has a drug addiction or somebody who is an alcoholic. Now, I don't know if you know alcoholics, but they will find a way to get a drink. They will hide it wherever. Yeah, they will hide it in the basin underneath the toilet. What's it called? The sink. They will do whatever. They will hide it in their shoes. They will do whatever it is they need to do. They will sell their shoes. They will sell their TV just to get that next fix. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that, all right? But what I am saying is that if you really want this bad enough, you will make it work no matter what. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And if I told people what I paid for one of the products inside of Empower Network, they would look at me and want to send me off to the funny farm. I'm telling you now. They will say, what is this guy on about? Why on earth are you paying so much money? That's like half a year's salary. And I only know the reason because I want it bad enough. I can see it. And the only reason I see it is because I am plugging into the training. And I know what a great thing this can be. What you need to do as a person in this industry is you need to get 5 people a month. You need to get 5 people a month. That's all you need to do. And we have great strategies that you can learn from. Now, we have Instagram training, which Stephen put together for us. And Stephen couldn't make it on today because he's got some internet issues with his service provider. And he keeps bouncing off and off his router. Am I saying it right? Router, not router. Anyway, so...
Well, hey, Dave, I wanted to kind of go back to, in about 7 minutes, we have Empower Hour after this.
Okay.
And talking about people who have next to nothing that joined this business and became what, who they are. Like, specifically, it's going to be Michael Martin that's going to be on the call tonight. And you're going to be able to hear his story, and that's why we want people to, that's why we encourage everybody to go on Power Hour, so you can listen to their stories. They're basically, you can call them rags to riches story, but it's not like a get-rich-quick thing. So they went through the struggles. You can resonate with some of these leaders and actually listen to how they got themselves to where they are now, and it could, like, trigger something. That's why I'm like, I've been in this business for 3 years with Empower Network, for almost 3 years, and I'm just like, every single day I listen to something with Empower Network. I swear that my eyebrows are just gonna do this like David Wood does, when he talks like that, it's a little.
Yeah.
And I don't even say the word sale right anymore. I say it like David Wood. He said sale.
Sale. Yeah.
Well, it's important to go through all that stuff because this is like your business, and it's almost like your life depends on it, because if you're going to invest all the time and whatever resources you have into it and you're just going to play around, you're wasting your time. You need to get involved. If you were going to buy a franchise, you certainly wouldn't go in an hour a day and check on the employees, say, hi, how are you, give me a sandwich and leave.
Yeah.
It's that important that you need to get involved in it in order to get the mindset and the training, and then move on from there.
Yeah, people that say to me, I've been in this industry for, for 2 years, but I haven't made a single sale. The thing if they were really honest with you, they would tell you exactly what they've been doing, which is amounting to nearly nothing. And people that claim they work really hard at something fool themselves into thinking they're doing work because they've gone through some training for the day. And that's the whole treat it like a hobby mindset, not like a business. I mean, if you've been doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you're getting no results over 3 months, there's got to be something wrong. You've got to speak to somebody, and you've got to change something up. That's exactly what I did. All right? Believe me, I've gone through that cycle. I must have made 2,000 videos in the time where I realized up to that point what I was doing wrong. 2,000 videos I must have made at least, probably more than that, where I actually realized, hey, wait a minute, I was doing something wrong. And because I never really followed a leader, I never really broke it down and figured out exactly what I was doing wrong. And so we have great training to get you going, but we really encourage you to go ahead and get that other training up to at least the six-figure builder club, because that's got some tremendous training. They just did a whole thing on paid traffic where they gave an entire PDF or where to get all sorts of traffic. That was incredible. And they got some...
Well, can I say something?
Yes.
Sorry. Can I say something about mentors, about finding yourself a mentor? Right almost at the beginning, someone told me at the second event I went to, someone said, you have to find a mentor. And at first, I didn't even know what a mentor was really and what to expect from a mentor. So when I asked somebody to be my mentor, what I did is I actually showered them with a whole bunch of questions. Really, I did. And what a mentor really is you find someone that you resonate with and you just watch what they're doing. If you can't find the answers, this is what I always say to my team, if you can't find the answers, I'm just a phone call, an email, or a Facebook message away. If you cannot find the answers, if it's something simple where maybe Google can answer it, or YouTube tutorials can answer it, or something, or the awesome training that we have in the back office, something, because this is your business, you have to take ownership of it, but also, find some mentors and find out what they're doing, and you can have more than one, which is so awesome. I have a ton. I'm like on stalker status on some of them on Facebook.
Listen, I also just want to give a shout out to Giovanna. I know she also, sorry Giovanna, I completely left you out of that list, and I'm really apologize. I know Giovanna, she's really, really dedicated at what she's doing, and I see her every single week, and I know that lady really works hard. But before we go, I've got to give the answer to the joke, right? So 50 cows in a meadow, 48 chickens, how many didn't? 50 cows in a meadow, 48 chickens, how many didn't? And for those of you who didn't know the answer, I'm going to tell you right now. The answer is how much, Katie? 2. The answer is 2. 50 cows in a meadow, 48 chickens.
I'm just going by what I did when I first heard that.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, so it's 10.
50 cows in a meadow, 48 the chickens. See? That's a joke. So the answer is 10. Do you get it now? So 40, I know cows don't eat chickens, but that's a whole riddle. So if you guys get that, it's already
Probably all left by now after that. They're like,
yeah, I'm sorry guys. I hope you enjoyed that. You can have fun with telling that to people.
They're like, Dave, you're better than that.
Right.
Chris is like, I still don't get it.
Chris, you don't get it? Seriously?
Come on.
In a meadow, 48 chickens. So
40.
chickens.
Maybe it's your accent.
Oh, yeah, maybe it's my accent, yeah. Anyway.
Like 40 of them, 40 of the cows ate them. 40 out of the 50 ate chickens.
All right. I hope not.
Wait,
Chris,
bust out the crayons. I'll bust out the crayons. No.
Yeah, bust out the crayons, yeah. Chris is right, though. He says, I know homeless people on the street, no money, but every day they have a pack of cigs. if they can do it, you can find a way to get the money.
Yeah.
That's true. That's really true.
Yep.
Yes, Ollie, the answer's 10. Oh, come on, Chris. Seriously.
All right, so Empower Hour is on, man. So I think we have a link
All right.
right below this
there is a
video.
link. This video is coded to you so you can promote it as well to your list. Guys, thank you so much for being on here. Be here same time next week when we have another hangout, and hopefully we can get Steve on here as well. Say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.